So the idea of the inference test is that we want to look at what was the chance that this just happened by coincidence. And the way I do that is with a placebo test. And that is done by taking every country in the donor pool for Jordan and running a synthetic control model for each of these countries that did not receive the treatment. And what this is going to do is give me a distribution of synthetic control models for the untreated countries, and I'll compare how far the distance is from the synthetic control models to the actual countries and look at if they're further away than what happened in Jordan. And this might be a little bit easier with a picture, so I'll go on to the inference for Jordan. Here is the goodness of fit before the treatment for Jordan, this dark line here. And all these shaded lines behind is the goodness of fit for the non-treated countries. So, for example, there's a synthetic Panama in here, as well as a synthetic Senegal, as well as all these other countries that did not receive weight. And these are this is the distribution of what would have happened after 2010 for my untreated units. And this is where Jordan is on that distribution. So you can see in 2011, about right here, the p-value is 0.12. So it's on the outer edge of the distribution, but not quite at the 95% confidence level yet. As we approach 2012, we're getting further outside the distribution, and I have a p-value of 0.02, so it's pretty significant. And the magnitude is pretty high. This can be interpreted as a 20% decrease in GDP per capita. So the idea is that this synthetic model is 20% higher than what actually happened in Jordan. For the next couple of years, also have very low p-values, and still the magnitude is increasing up until 2015. So I use World Bank data. The variables that were used were inspired by the German reunification paper by Albaldi. The only variable I didn't use was education, and this is a variable that I would like to use. Unfortunately, the data set that I was working with didn't have enough education variables for all the countries in the donor pool, and that limited my ability to use this education variable, but I was still able to get pretty good results without it. And there's about 190 countries in the World Bank data. My covariates are the same as the German reunification paper, the real GDP, population, inflation, capital formation, industry, share of the economy, and trade openness. And so we've already looked at Jordan. We can go on to look at Lebanon. So this is the goodness of fit here. It's a little bit of space, but after the treatment, there's a larger amount of space. So of course, we have to do our inference and have a look at how much of this can be attributed to the war in Syria. Here's our distribution of placebos. And you can see that Lebanon is on the outer part of the distribution, but our p-values are not quite as low as Jordan. So 1 year I had a 0.08, so that's within the 9% confidence interval, and the magnitude is about 27% lower than if the treatment had not occurred. I also take a look at Turkey. I'm trying to capture the trend here, and it does a pretty good job up around the recession, and then you see they kind of diverged around 2010, going into 2011, and then kind of reconverge coming back to 2015. And for the inference, we have a p-value of 0.02 for 2011, and the p-values are higher for other years. So it looks like Turkey was significantly impacted in 2011, and maybe less so for 2012 through 2015. For Israel, kind of a similar story. The trend is captured pretty well, and then after the treatment, it diverges, and it looks like it starts to follow the same trend, but underneath it, it's kind of parallel. And what I see is that in 2012, we had a significant impact, about 17% less. So Jordan appears to be the most impacted. It had the most years of a significant effect. And up until 2015, it was having some reduction in GDP per capita. Lebanon may have been the second most impacted with the second highest magnitude, but there's only 1 year of with a low p-value. In 2011, Turkey appears to be the most impacted, where Jordan and Lebanon did not have significant p-values in 2011. And then 2012 appears to be the only year that Israel was showing a significant p-value. So, in conclusion, the synthetic control model for all countries born in Syria did show that they were negatively impacted by the conflict, but the magnitude and the timing of the effects vary by the countries. So, this might be able to help investigate what exactly are the channels driving the decrease in income because of the war, which is still something that the literature doesn't have much consensus on. Thank you very much.